Hi, I'm John Grace here with CJ Owens with McKetchin Media. And CJ was at our last event for the Better Business Advisors where we had a great networking event, but I'm going to tell you that because that's what I believe. And as they say, you're going to like who you meet and what you learn. But CJ, tell us a little bit about what you learned and who you met and how this was a great workshop for you last Thursday.
Okay, so I guess the story really started in that I nearly didn't make the session, and just like the movie Sliding Doors, my life would have been a little bit different. So the fact of the matter is that I had client appointments, I really wanted to attend, and at the end I just made myself say, okay, this is what I'm going to do, roll up, and in fact I only knew one other person as an acquaintance, and it's an important part for me to continue to network. So the actual evening session, really, I tried to put everything I do into practice. So listening to the event of, personas, human personas, how to impact a sales meeting, how to change the conversation and the connection that you have with clients. I listened very intensely and could identify myself as being the pragmatist. And then I did have a very important meeting the next day. And so we finished at 9 o'clock that night,
Right.
Got home at 9:30, decided that, okay, I'm going to put this into practice, very conscious of my own personality and my own style. My meeting notes, I reviewed them for the next day, and they were very much the pragmatist. I had a dozen lists, I had my Evernote already set, I had spreadsheets, I had Smartsheet project plans, I had examples of products and services. And then I thought, okay, what about the people in the meeting? What about the meeting room itself, the guests, my clients? And they were all collaborators by the definition of what we had learned that evening. So at 11 o'clock at night, I completely put aside my spreadsheets, notes, and handouts, and then decided I would try a more collaborative conversational style. And then I thought, being the collaborator, it's about relationships.
Right.
And then I thought, well, how have I been impacting the relationships within my client's organisation, which is across New Zealand, Australia. We're all on the phone, we're on GoToMeeting. And so I decided to go into the session extremely focused on the reality that I was going to try and talk and engage a collaborator. So my approach, which was so different than how I would have gone in and how I have gone in every other month for 5 years, I decided to talk about the people in the organisation that we had been interfacing with, how the value of the feedback we're getting from the clients' staff and their own clients. And it just worked. What was a 30-minute briefing session, which is scheduled once a month, turned into 2 hours, asking me more about how did we communicate and convey our ideas offshore to their New Zealand staff. And we had a 2-hour session, and then the next day we got asked to do the same thing for their new office in London.
Beautiful.
Which would never have been on the radar for me going in with my spreadsheets and my PowerPoints.
All that boredom.
All that boredom. And I really felt there was a strong emotional connection. And we have since, it's only been a week.
Right.
I've literally now presented material back to them for the London office. And we have a conference call tomorrow night.
Beautiful.
But notwithstanding that, that's been a very practical, pragmatist approach to making sure I apply what I learn, which is what I love about this networking group. But then knowing my business, which is in content and communications, multimedia communications, we had a videographer who's actually taking this now in the session. And so I went up to Reggie and said, hey, this is what I do. I've got to get going. It's 9:30, but let's catch up. So we did the very next day. I'm working with a client that absolutely could use Reggie's services and mine together as a collective team. And within, 3 days, we're now meeting and we've got a plan. We're going back to the client with a collective plan that will benefit our client with our expertise. And now I've met Reggie and you personally, and so much value has come from it. So I'm just really appreciative of the networking group. and looking forward to June.
Beautiful, beautiful. So you'll be with us on June 10th, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, because we want to hear more about this, and I want the
The next
audience who's there.
episode, I'll tell you
The next episode, beautiful,
Yeah.
beautiful. We'll pick up where we left off. It's about commerce, as you can see with CJ. It's not just about liking who you meet and what you get to eat and what you get to learn. You get to put it into practice, and clearly the results are revolutionary. I mean, they're just much greater than any of us would have ever imagined. So it makes all of the work that we do at Better Business Advisors clearly worthwhile. So let me just suggest that you too set your calendar for June 10th, because at this point we'll have Robert Grossman, who was at our last event, did a great job in teasing us, who will be talking about emotional intelligence and how to use that. The way I put it, the way I would frame it is it possible to take an OS moment and make it an aha moment? You know, to take something that happens, that everyday things happen, family, friends, clients, they expect too much, the expectations aren't being maintained, and yet how can we take some of those real disappointments and see the emotional intelligence, or the aha, the genesis, the seed, if you will, of something that could become great? How can we take that event and turn it around and make it work for us as opposed to be depressed? Look forward to seeing you on June 10th. We'll be back at the Sheraton Agoura from 5 to 8 p.m. We'll see you there.